Hello everyone, OBG here with the first in a series of how to play videos, specifically focused on tribes. We're going to start with the Dwarf tribe and talk about them. They are a great place to start, and as I mentioned, they are very easy to get started with. They are very beginner friendly. They are straightforward. They are easy to recognize the signals for. They are very solid. They will get you top half finishes, and generally speaking, they are considered a not top tier comp, so you won't find people forcing them. They don't use good boys, so you're not going to have people jumping. You're not going to be trying to get to the top to get good boys first. They're not using Pumpkin King, who is one of the other strong ones. They're not using Shadow Assassins. They're not using Mims. So there's a lot of things you can use that other people aren't using, which makes your shop buying much more efficient. They are not as scalable as the rest. You're not going to get 4,000 hit point Echo Woods. You're not going to get 300 trees across the board. You're not going to get round table comps. You're not going to have hat ball combos giving you 200 attack ranged units. They are very solid, but they are not spectacular. They generally don't win unless you get really far ahead and just stomp the lobby early. You can do it. And because they are so specific, all of their things are dwarf based. Everything is dwarf this, dwarf this, dwarf this. They are hard to pivot out of. You're not going to toss a mummy in there. You're not going to toss. You're not going to slowly transition into monsters or anything like that. Once you go dwarves, you're pretty much going to stay dwarves. They're super hard to get out of once you're into them because they don't hold up well as half a comp. If you're going animals or that kind of thing, you probably know what I'm talking about. Very similar. So first of all, let's talk about what are the early signals that, hey, dwarves might be your thing today. The most important early signal is Fanny. If she's in your opening shop with a second dwarf, grab him. Grab her, lock the shop, grab the other dwarf, and you're off to a pretty strong start. Fanny herself is a 2/2 as a basic unit. That's a solid first tier unit. And once you toss even a crafty on top of her, he becomes a 3/3. She's a 2/2. You got five health, 5 attack worth of power there with 2 units. That's going to beat most things out there that you're going to run into. Some things are still gonna crush you, like a Loki, obviously. Hat and Cat. Mim and Cat are really strong with 2/4/1s there. They might run through you. That kind of thing. But in general, Fanny plus another dwarf is really strong and can really do great things straight out of the gate. The second early pivot is doubly. If you hit your 3 gold shop and you see 2 doublies, grab them both, pivot dwarfs, go. 2 doublies on 3 at 3 gold is really strong, and you really want to focus down the doubly path if you get it, because even a little bit of support behind doubly, even if it's not a Fanny, will really wreck early. Second pivot point is treasures. The most obvious one is if you hit a Dwarven Forge, go dwarves. It is super strong. If you hit it on 4 gold, or even on 3 gold or 2 gold with a mouse, for instance, or a horde dragon getting it for you early, very strong. Obviously, if you're picking it up when you're on 6 gold, not nearly as strong. Deepstone Mine, given +2/+2 to everything, is very strong. If you look at the other tribal things, you have like the +1/+1 animals, you have +1/+1 to level 3 units, so you can sell the dwarven one is stronger than that because it's more focused, more specific, kind of like the dragon tribal one is +5/+5 because there's only 3 dragons, so they don't really get the scalability. The other treasure that's kind of a surprise that you might not think about if you get it early is Ring of Meteors. It works really well with an Angry. It can give you some extra bonuses and extra things, hurt your opponents. If you end up with a Ring of Meteors and suddenly run across an Angry, you're like, hey, we're going dwarves. Cool. So let's talk about the in-game pivot. The in-game pivot is really challenging in general. A lot of the top level players will tell you that the game starts at 6. Everything else before that is just getting there, surviving, putting together this piece or that piece. You're trying to grab and throw something in that makes your comp better, but you're not really building a super comp until you get to 6. Everything else you do before that is irrelevant because once you hit 6, the power spike from 5 to 6 is huge, and that's where you want to focus is as many 6 units as you can get into your comp to make it better. If you poly into a gold lordy, which I did once and wrecked a lobby, even though I had no dwarves when I polyed into the lordy and just went buying every dwarf I can find and crushing people. Just not even a chance. I was doing 10, 15, 18 damage every turn to somebody and just wiped the lobby out quick. Angry is another early pivot. I mean, in-game pivot. He is nowhere near as important as Lordy. He's still important, and he still makes a huge difference in the comp, but Lordy is your pivot point. If you have Angry, and you see an Angry, and you have a couple doublies, and you can really hard commit to it, it's not bad. But he really doesn't shine until Lordy hits. And Dwarves don't really shine until Lordy hits. So you can definitely hold on with them. You can do well in mid game, but you're not going to win any fights at 6 without a Lordy. Let's talk about the mid game. So this is about what your mid game lineup is going to look like. This is kind of what you're targeting. You picked up an early Fanny. You toss in a Crafty because you got a couple treasures. You find a Bossy. You toss in a Tweedledee for some speed, some recoverability, a couple doublies. So this is about where you're trying to get to. Getting support behind the doubly to get him bigger. You got support behind Tweedledee to support the Tweedledum when he pops out. You have Greedy over here trying to get you some extra gold, and your Crafty should be getting pretty big with treasures by about 4 or 5 gold. So that's your mid-game target. Just to give you an idea. Obviously, it's very fluid depending on what you get, what you have. You could replace this Fanny with a Mim or with a good route or anything like that. Any kind of support is fine. You do want to get support behind doubly though, as you build your mid game comp. So your in game comp, you're not going to get anywhere without a Lordy, as we talked about. You're probably going to need to have 2 fully upgraded doublies to get you going into the in game and carry you to a top 2 finish. You're going to need an Angry to get you there as well. Bossy and Fanny can be interchanged depending on what you find and what you have, that kind of thing. The interesting addition to an in-game comp is Echowood. You might be thinking, it's not a dwarf. You told me I need to have all dwarves. You told me that Lordy triggers off of dwarves. Well, yes. And Lordy does. Lordy does. He gives you +4/+4 on each dwarf that you have. To each dwarf for each dwarf. So 7 dwarves is 28/28. Why would you take a dwarf out and make it only 24/24? Echowood gets bonuses based on attack and health gained during a brawl. So support doesn't trigger him, but this gives them +4/+4 for the brawl, no matter what. That will give you 24/24 to everybody, and he will get that as well, because he'll get each person's 24/24 on him. Doubly will get 48/48 from that. Triply, if you gold a doubly, will give you 72/72. Altogether, if you have this full upgraded gold board, 432 Echowood. Very, very strong beat stick for the end game. It can carry you to a first place in many, many lobbies. Finally, hero choices. There are no bad heroes for dwarves. There are no, oh, I have this, I need to focus dwarves, like you have with Bad Drac focusing Shadow Assassin, or evil focusing the evil +1 guy focusing evil, that kind of thing. You can play with anybody. Potion Master is great. +2/+2, you focus that on doubly or triply. He's getting bonuses off of that, and he's doubling and tripling that bonus as well as the bonus you put on him. Big Bad Wolf gives you the extra health as well as the +3/+3 at the end of the game. Is nice to keep you above the lobby and let you beat them down. Pup is a great early game hero, period. And if you put a you're putting fannies back there, so you're getting the pup bonus from that. And if you get pup onto a doubly or triply, he's also getting +2/+1 doubled or tripled as well. So that is dwarves. Take them, play them, enjoy them. They are a great starter comp. They are great for you when you first get into the game. They are straightforward. You just take dwarves and you win. Uh, and they will not do as well as the later lobbies, because the stronger players will be putting together stronger, more complicated comps. But when you're starting out, you just focus dwarves, you will win a lot of lobbies, you will win a lot of points, and you will rise the ranks very, very quickly. So take some dwarves, bring home the gold. OBG out.